Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's Once Upon a Time After Show. I am your host, Tiona Hobson, filling in for Kathy Kelly, who will be back, I promise. I'm not making this up. Joining me tonight, as always, I have my two lovely co-hosts who I will let introduce themselves.
Hello, everybody. Kaori Takee in the house.
Hi, guys. I'm Marisa Serafini.
And I just want to start off the show by saying thank you to everyone who watched our show on YouTube and on iTunes and commented. We had so many commenters on YouTube this week that I couldn't even keep up with all the predictions that were coming in and all the theories.
Love them.
It was amazing. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it. Keep reading, keep commenting. We love it.
Yes, it was definitely worth it. So thank you guys, and keep that up because I mean, it's only episode 2. We have 20 more of these things to go through. Season. We're going to be with you till May, so this is going to be amazing. So don't lose that momentum and let us know what you think. And we'll start giving people shout outs again next week. I know we've been kind of slacking on that, but we will get on that next week. For tonight's episode, Whiteout, which, I mean, I guess worked well with their blackout in the town. But before we get into that story, I want to start with the stuff that we saw along a couple years back, I guess, in the Enchanted Forest.
Many years ago.
That's the correct terminology there. I love that they've just given up with trying to give you like exact numbers. It's just like many years ago.
I love how they're bringing it up and they're making the audience realize, okay, we have to personally place it on their timeline. You know, we have to figure it out.
Yes. So this is clearly before David has, found out about his twin brother who was killed and has become a prince. He's still the farmer boy.
Before he got pair of scissors.
Yeah.
And the mother's still alive.
Yeah. The mother, Mama Ruth's still alive. Yeah. He's rocking his, he actually, in an interview, called that wig that he's wearing his, like, romance novel
his
wig.
Fabio hair.
Yeah, because he looks like he should be on a cover of, like, one of those romance novels. You see him Barnes and Noble. But we have Joan, aka Anna, who has made it on her journey over to the Enchanted Forest, and she seeks out David because he's actually a friend of Kristoff's. So I think it's interesting. Hopefully we'll get to learn how exactly they knew each other, but Kristoff kind of told her, look at my pal. He'll help you out. He's a good guy. You can trust him. She's on a secret mission, though. And what I love about what they're doing with Anna is that they're keeping her character very true.
Yes,
to the movie.
I was going to point that out. Yeah, totally agree. Same thing with Elsa.
Yes.
Yeah, I would have to say the casting for Anna is perfect. Spot on.
Yeah, and how she just kind of overshares, but then tries to hide it, and just the socially awkward moments. It's just, it's great, and I love it. But she has to sleep in his barn, which I thought was really cute, since Kristoff
slept in a barn.
It's like, oh, you didn't want to ask for like the couch or something inside? I guess that's a little invasive.
Would they have a couch?
I don't know, maybe.
That's true.
A loft, maybe.
So part of the farming history that we didn't know about that we learned tonight is Bo Peep, who is not the sweet little girl from the nursery rhyme.
She's a older woman who is kind of a witch with a B instead of a W.
Yeah.
I like this portrayal of Bo Peep because, we're so used to a good character and, how they switched Peter on us. I mean, that was a fun portrayal, and now we have this reenactment in a different light than us audience know.
Yeah, so Bo Peep is kind of like she's like the landlord, I guess.
She's a warlord.
She's evil. And she's coming around looking for her payment, and she never says how much he owes or anything, but she wants it by tomorrow at noon. And she ends up branding both David and his mother, Ruth, so that she can always find them no matter what, which is kind of the theme of this whole show,
This
because
sounds like
everyone's
a curse, like a dark curse.
It does, except only she with her handy staff that, used to look so cute with little kids with their Bo Peep costumes. It's a bad staff now.
She's almost like Rumple Light,
Yeah. It's like, I wonder if her and Rumple ever crossed paths, because, I mean, could you imagine if those two had hooked up and had a child? Like, whoa, all the evilness that would have been.
Regina came out.
But I liked how they used the staff in a more evil way, because a lot of times we see people with staffs, it's usually bad. I mean, unless you're Gandalf, but that's a completely different story. But having the staff be used for evil purposes, even though it's still kind of silvery, pinkish.
Yeah, I mean, everything was still super cute. It's pink, lots of bows on her dress.
She was very colorful.
Yeah, she was colorful.
She was very Bo Peep.
Yeah, she was very Bo Peep. She just,
Which is ironic, because you think for a darker character, she would wear a darker type of toned down pinks or whatnot, but no, she went very colorful.
It's interesting that they chose Bo Peep as the character to go up against David and Ruth at the time. It makes me question, like, how that happened.
Yeah, but it kind of makes sense since they are on a farm.
Yeah.
But man, I was not expecting Bo Peep to come out like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which I think is so great. One of the great things about this show, clearly.
Did we know that Bo Peep was going to be in the story?
I did read about it today.
Oh, see, I did not know that.
But I didn't know in what way. I didn't want to spoil it too much for you guys, but when I was looking for news and gossip, I did see that Bo Peep was going to be making an appearance. And I did hear that Anna was going to meet David, and that their friendship is something that's very important, that's going to come into play a lot later too.
Do you think jealousy is going to come into play?
I don't know. Did you get that vibe from
I did quickly from Mary, what her name? Snow White? At the end.
Mary Margaret.
Oh, at the end.
Oh, that was with Elsa though, but I did.
No. Well, the whole David Anna back in the many years ago storyline, it felt, they were very flirtatious. But I don't know if it was anything more than that, just, nice, friendly acquaintances at that moment.
Yeah. And I mean, David knows the code of the bros. That's his dude's girl. He put together that, it's Kristoff's fiance.
Yeah, that's true.
She is getting married.
Yeah, she is getting married, even though her wedding was supposed to happen the day before she left. Still
I don't think anything's going to happen between them, but I think jealousy could come into play by a third party. Maybe. Okay. But we'll see. That's predictions, and we don't talk about that yet.
I think that right now I'm going to say that they are a solid guy-girl friendship.
Yes.
Because Anna is so down to earth, and, she's like, you guys should fight, and, you shouldn't be her slave, Bo Peep slaves. Like, I can teach you how to use a sword, because my soldiers, the soldiers that I came across one time, these people that I happened to come across taught me how to use a sword.
On this mission thing.
So I think that she's very down to earth, and he's just like, okay, like she helps him stand up for himself and his mom.
Yeah, and bringing that confidence back, because we always see David at this point, very confident, and he's a very positive one who's very optimistic and whatnot. And to know that at this point before, he wasn't so optimistic. He had a lot of hardships in his life, and he was a negative kind of Nancy in a way. So it's nice to bring Anna, who's very positive and chipper,
and it shows how much she influenced him to who he is today, and how much of a stronger person he is because of her.
Yeah, and even swordsmanship.
Yeah, and
who knew?
Right? And she did a great job, because I don't know how long they were working at it, but they didn't have much time, and he was pretty good, even though she kept beating him. He wants to give up. He's like, no, this is pointless. If I can't even beat you, how am I supposed to beat Bo Peep and her minions? Anna,
army.
Yeah, Anna says that, he's not giving up because he doesn't believe he's being a coward. He's saying it's cowardice. Did you guys think that it was cowardice of him to give up so easily?
I don't know what else it would be.
I wouldn't call it cowardice per se. I would say definitely being afraid. I mean, there's the fine line between just generally being afraid and worried about your well-being than being a coward. And it just seems like David at this point knows which battles he should fight and which ones he shouldn't, and he knows this one is probably one that he shouldn't at this moment. But I'm glad that Anna was like, no, even though this is a battle that seems impossible, you should fight it.
What do you think?
Well, when she said that, I immediately started thinking of Rumple's story, and how he abandoned and how he cowered out. I think Rumple was a coward.
Yeah,
and that is one thing. I thought David was just thinking like, it's me against an army. How is one person going to make a change? And I didn't see that as cowardice. I saw it more as like street smarts, or like, you know, being smart about the odds. They're not going to be in his favor. But then at the end of the day, Anna does say, you know, it's not about, you know, what the outcome will be, but, you know, you have to stand up for yourself.
Sure.
And if you don't start with the one person, then what's going to make millions of people stand up for themselves?
Mm-hmm.
I did like the story how there was the parallelism between having another father who was a cowardly figure. And that also relates to David's life. I mean, I don't think we saw that coming. So I like that's even another thing that makes David more similar with all the other fairy tale characters.
Yeah, because we knew that his dad died, but we didn't know how or why or like anything.
Manner.
You know, in my mind, I'm thinking David had like a perfect childhood. His parents were like loving and loved him, and then, you know, his dad unfortunately died, and then him and his mom struggled, and, you know, all this stuff. And then you hear the story about how, you know, his parents used to fight all the time. His dad was a drunk. At 6 years old, he could hear his parents fighting, and his dad left for a 2-week journey to go get some supplies, and that he'd be back and he was going to stay sober. And then they get that knock on the door on the 14th day when he's supposed to be back, and he had crashed his cart into a ravine after getting drunk at a tavern.
Yeah. That was like, oh, that happened.
It took a really dark turn in this episode.
It did. It really did.
I wasn't expecting that.
No. And it shows you that drunk driving has been around for a very long time, boys and girls. And don't do it.
Don't do it.
The big message there, too.
And if you're in town with an Uber, take that.
Enchanted Forest Uber. That would be great.
Once they get their electricity back, of course.
Enchanted Uber, that would be great, yeah.
But, you know, it was very nice to see that side of David, and then it explains a lot about David's parenting styles and why his relationship with Emma is so important, and like with his new son Neil, like he wants to be a very hands-on dad. He doesn't want to mess this up. He doesn't want to mess up his kids, and
he doesn't want to be the father that leaves when something rough comes along, and say he's the one that fights the battles and he will stick it through.
Yes. So go David.
It's a good backstory.
Yes.
Yeah. More layers.
It was more layers. I love that. Meanwhile, Bo Peep has, you know, the next day, David goes to the barn, tries to get Joan out of there before Bo Peep comes back. And Bo Peep is already there. She's taken Anna away somewhere where she can't get away. And she's branded Anna, we find out, which doesn't seem like it ever comes off of you.
I was kind of wanting them to show an actual physical brand, because we saw some whoosh magic. And then they're branded, but like, is there a physical? I
don't know if there's a physical brand.
Just magical
like
branding.
a magical tattoo.
Like you're talking about like a
or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be barbaric.
I mean, that'd be also dark too. But like some kind of mark to show this is Bo Peep's property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's something like, not like a blacklight, but something that only is reveals itself when like Bo Peep like does something with her staff over you or something.
Yeah.
Maybe
Just some
But
binding.
it just, what sucks is like, based on what we hear, she doesn't even remember, or she could be lying, how many people she's branded or who she's branded. I'm like, wow, that's kind of messed up.
I mean, it's the same thing we saw with Regina
You
last
know?
week.
Yeah.
You know?
Jeez.
Evil
like,
people, they go through their things and, you know.
like hotcakes.
Yeah, I mean, they hurt so many people that it's hard to keep count.
Yeah.
And you probably don't want to remember them all, because then that would mean you had feelings and that you're real and human, and then you're supposed to be evil.
Yeah. So the real question is, how long has Bo Peep been doing this?
Probably a long time.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
What she doesn't do it in Storybrooke anymore is what I'm guessing. She's done with
Which
that.
is kind of limited in Storybrooke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, David does show up and he does decide to fight. He, Bo Peep didn't really have an army. It was 2 guys. So he beats them and ties up Bo Peep and goes and finds Joan, and Joan attacks him.
You know, I think it's funny that Bo Peep had her little bed area tent, like the lavish tent, in the middle of this farm.
Yeah.
Dressed like that. I thought it was funny. Anyway.
It's very
like, whoa, okay.
regal.
Yeah. It felt like France monarchy period or something,
Yeah.
you know?
Like gazebo out in the open.
Yeah.
So then, you know, they get Joan ready, or Anna ready, to go on the rest of her journey. And first of all, I love that when Ruth brings out a sandwich.
Oh my goodness, that was awesome.
I love sandwiches.
So cute.
So cute.
So
Love
frozen.
This girl. So frozen. She invites them both to the wedding. She's like, I hope I see you both at the wedding. And then Ruth, and her are talking, and Anna says, hey, like, does this magic stuff like that staff happen a lot around here? Because I'm kind of looking for someone who might be able to help my parents out. And Ruth tells her about Rumpelstiltskin, basically. She's
you said his name.
I did. What's going to happen? Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin. Nothing happened.
And he's not here.
He's not here.
Interview time.
But, she was scared to say his name out loud, so she wrote it down. And then we see as she's riding away on David's dad's horse that after she says his name, we see that globe of Rumple, like, very excited watching her on her journey. So does this mean that Rumple knew she was coming?
Well, she did say his name as she was riding off, and that might have just triggered his, whoa, someone's calling my name.
Yeah, but if he had already met her parents before, then maybe he was expecting at some point Anna or Elsa to come in.
Yeah.
Ask for.
Well, it seems like Rumple definitely has eyes on Ruth and Anna. So he might have been watching Ruth and David at this.
Gosh, he's
for all we
creepy.
know.
Well, we know he was watching them because
Anna.
we know that he was watching David and Ruth because of the whole, like, baby exchange thing. So I think he always kept his eye on David just in case something were to happen to the other twin, which ended up happening.
He does end up with Anna's necklace somehow. We have yet to figure out how that happened. And it's a darker version of it, burned and stuff. So
it's been through some things.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Some dark magic.
So then, our story takes us into Storybrooke, where we have Elsa, who's still out on the loose, still scared, still, vowing to find Anna. And she says, no one can leave this town until I find Anna, which they can't leave the town anyway, right?
Yeah, no.
I know that there's the new curse that came up, but I still thought that they still...
She probably doesn't know what's up.
She doesn't know. But it was unnecessary for you to build that wall.
But just another reason you can't leave Storybrooke.
Yes, you cannot leave Storybrooke because there's an ice border around the whole perimeter now. And we have, because of this, tower lines of lines fall down, causing a blackout, which sends David and Emma to the town line to see what's going on. Hook is there because Emma called him on the car ride.
Yeah, distress call.
Yeah, distress call.
Oh, who's the first person she calls?
I'm still Bellfire. I know.
He
it's a
sadly is not here anymore. And I'm still a hooker for life.
I know you are. You like saying that
Moving
too.
on.
I love saying that.
Well, you're winning.
Yes, so far.
Right now.
So he comes, and so it's kind of like that awkward of, David, Emma, and Hook. And Hook refers to this as their second date. The first date being, with the snow monster.
Yeah.
The second date is now with the ice wall because, they haven't had time to sit down and have a dinner.
Yeah, and you don't count the quiet ones.
Yeah.
You just count the times how many you're together. I'm not sure that's how dating works.
I
but
know.
okay.
You don't even count when you guys made out.
I mean,
It's modern dating, I'd say, for the
Hanging out.
Storybrooke times. This is the best he's gonna get because Emma last episode said there's just so much going on. He's like, there's always something happening here, so there's never gonna be the perfect time. So if this is what they have to do to get dates, I'm all for it. So date number 2.
Well, at least they're adventurous dates.
Yeah, okay.
Someone's life is always in danger. There's always a sweet rescue. It's
Damsel in distress.
Damsel in distress. It's amazing. So Emma sees someone in the ice wall, so she goes to check it out. Meanwhile, David has a little fatherly moment with Hook where he's
love that.
I guess this is the point when I have to have a talk about your intentions with my daughter.
So weird.
It's a Papa Bear. That was amazing.
It was so Papa Bear and so sweet. But Hook does bring up a good point. He's like, Emma has just as much in the decision of what happens with this as I do.
True.
Yeah, it's
Which
up to Emma.
shows that he is being a very valiant man and he's being respectful and he's not forcing himself on anyone.
Whatever.
He's being very patient with Emma when she asked for space and she was like, hey, just be patient. It will come.
Whatever.
And if they keep having these kind of dates where her life is in danger, it's just going to keep pushing her closer and closer to Hook. That's all I have to say.
Or further and further away. However you want to look
Definitely closer. I mean,
I love this reputation. That's amazing.
Anyways, inside the wall, she finds Elsa. And, she, Elsa's scared, like we've seen her. And Emma's like, hey, what's going on? Who are you? And Elsa's just like, I'm looking for my sister. Her name's Anna. Emma's getting all the information she needs. And then here come Hook and David, guns blazing and a hook out.
Awesome.
Trying to ice pick
that. It was a valiant effort, Hook.
It was. He was trying to claw her out with his little hook. And I was like, you're not going to get through that ice wall.
But look, he tried, right? Yeah, he was trying.
But luckily, their walkie-talkies still work.
Barely.
Kind
Which
of.
was pretty funny, because not to jump too far ahead, but when Elsa got onto the walkie-talkie, first we see her, was like, what is that? And then she's like using it like she knows how to do it. I'm like, okay, I'm not really believing that moment.
There's some plot holes in there.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. But, they send David and Hook off to look for Anna because, that's what Elsa's demanding, or else she's going to freeze over the whole town and everyone in it.
I just want to say, I love the fact, again, we're going back to what we said in the beginning of this after show, but Elsa is so close and so true to her character in the cartoon because she's, kind-hearted and she's kind of misguided and afraid of her powers, but she means well. And I just love that they kept that character and encompassed her in this show.
Yeah.
And she also shows her vulnerability.
Yeah.
And also, keeping... Cold doesn't bother her.
Yeah.
That was great.
Cold doesn't bother me.
And she, again, built an ice fortress wall thing. So
yeah.
That she felt comfortable in.
Yeah, she was fine in there. But Emma figures out that Elsa actually can't control her powers because, she recognizes the same fears and insecurities that Emma also has. So they also have a lot in common besides their blonde hair.
A lot of similarities.
Yeah, a lot of similarities in these two, that they both have these powers that they don't understand. They don't necessarily know where they come from.
They don't really have parents. They didn't really grow up with a stable family home.
Yeah, so you can see them kind of bonding, and I was like, oh my gosh, can you guys be like besties?
Best friends!
Emma and Elsa BFF, out fighting crime throughout Storybrooke. Tell me you're not down for that.
I'm cool
so
with
down.
that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
I thought so too. I was like, they're going to be the new besties.
Yes, I was like, oh my gosh, who needs a bromance right now? We don't need any more bromance. We need a, what's it called? Just a sister-mance or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Girlfriend.
Sis dance.
Sis dance. What's the girl equivalent? Besties. So, and I love that we got to see Elsa, feeling bad and trying to keep Emma awake because Emma is freezing in this place.
She
looked
white,
very
purple.
blue.
Yeah.
Very blue.
I mean, it has to be really cold in there, and she's only wearing her red leather jacket, so
that's not going to keep her warm.
That's not going to keep her warm at all. David and Hook go over to Gold's shop because, they're looking for answers because they know that Elsa found her sister's necklace in the shop. Belle quickly finds the note card, because she's so organized, of what the necklace looked like, which launches David's memory into the enchanted forest, and he knows who she is. But let's talk about Gold in this moment. He's supposed to be this nice guy now who's changed his ways, but as soon as they said, hey, Emma's trapped in a ice
forest,
yeah,
he was just like, oh, what, you want me to go blow it out and kill her too? And it's like, I mean, that's your only option, Gold, is 1, do nothing, or 2, kill Emma.
That was another little plot holy thing, but who knows? Maybe he was just...
I know that he's
his attitude wasn't ideal, because the first thing he said was, oh, honeymoon's over.
Yeah.
But the fact that he didn't really try anything when he's one of the most powerful mans, you think he would do something.
But he still has that
he didn't.
dagger thing going on.
Yeah, I was like, I know he's going through some things,
but
this is also your son's baby mama, your grandson's mom.
It's basically his daughter-in-law.
Yeah, it's basically like you're related to this girl who's trapped in there.
Yeah.
And
you should want to do something to help her if you are a good person now, if you're not evil Mr. Gold anymore.
Well, maybe he just didn't have the best honeymoon or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to defend him. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
I was just a little disappointed in Gold in this moment, because I wanted him to at least go out there and take a look at the ice wall.
He didn't even try that.
But would it have confused you if you saw him being like, "Oh my God, I gotta help," and then you go back to old fairy tale land, and you see that last part where he's like, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe they just wanted to.
But also, if they had Gold help, the story would be over because he would just probably take down that ice wall already. So
yeah, and he
doesn't been too fast.
And he doesn't do anything without getting something in exchange for it, which we all know. But I don't know. I just expected him to at least show some concern for Emma because after everything everyone has been through with him, I thought that at least him and Emma had a good relationship standing where he would be slightly concerned about it.
Apparently not.
Apparently I read too far into things. So from there, David, knowing that he knows Anna and that she has this brand on her from Bo Peep, they go track down Bo Peep in Storybrooke. She is at the butcher shop chopping lamb chops.
It was so weird.
That was terrible.
I don't know about that.
So disturbing.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
And she was good at it too.
She was really good at it.
That's the thing.
Another reason why we see, clearly she's still evil.
Yeah, she's still that.
But
she's not as threatening here.
Well, she's weaker, I guess. Her powers aren't as strong.
Well, she has the attitude, but no one's gonna stop her.
Yeah, so
she can't stop anybody.
I don't know why they didn't take her staff sooner. Like they went in there and they had this big discussion with her instead of just grabbing it and walking away.
Oh well, because David was coming in through the front,
and then
Hook came back from behind.
Yeah.
They had to trap her.
They had to trap her first.
You can't just go walk in willy-nilly and grab her staff.
I mean, because she did also have that big knife. She was ready to chuck it, David.
Oh, that was shocking. Scary. Like she was ready to go.
That big cleaver, man.
Mm-hmm.
She was ready to go. She's still holding a grudge from the Enchanted Forest. Someone did not forget, what happened last time. So but David kind of stands up for himself, and she's like, "Oh, what? Here you're the big hero?" And he's like, "No, here I don't have to take crap from you," is what I'm gonna say, because that's how I heard it in my head. He's just like, "Look, here you ain't the boss of me. I'm the prince. You're a butcher. You do what I say."
I like your version of David better. No, I'm just kidding.
Where he gets like that black woman attitude inside of him all of a sudden. Inside David is an angry black woman. But from there they get the staff. They go back over. They have this way to find Anna, but they get news that Emma is falling asleep inside the ice cave and she's losing consciousness.
And Elsa figured out how to use the walkie-talkie.
Yeah, and Elsa uses the walkie-talkie to let them know. So they get back there and David gives her exactly what she needs because she's so scared and so freaked out and she thinks the only person who can help her is her sister. And David uses kind of the same mechanisms that her sister used for him back in the day to help her through this process too. And so she's able to, control everything and blow out an ice hole so that they can get out of there.
I thought it was really sweet. I mean, because the only way to convince her pretty much was to bring in her sister in some way, even though she wasn't physically there, but knowing that he is good because he's pretty much channeling what Anna would be saying, because Anna would probably be the only one who could convince Elsa to do anything. So to say the same things that Anna would, I thought that was really good.
Yeah. And, I mean, you could feel Anna's spirit there with her.
Through David.
Through David. He definitely did a great job of channeling her. And so they're able to get out of there. And then they all go back over to the apartment and they're warming up.
They lose the necklace.
Yes, I was wondering, why didn't she get the necklace?
Well, she couldn't raise the ice.
She could have done something. She could have added a hole.
No, she could have easily raised the ice to lift it to her.
Guys, I think the most important thing was that Emma was dying, so she was more focused on not
I like
killing
how
her.
We're thinking necklace. We're thinking necklace.
You're thinking necklace.
They're not going to kill Emma.
They're not going to kill Emma.
But
she'll be fine.
Yes.
I think it was. I actually liked that Elsa forgot about the necklace because she was concerned about the necklace, but then she's also freaking out because she did this. She created this. She's the one who put Emma in danger.
She put her new bestie in danger.
Yeah. So now she's trying to get her out and help her. So I like that she forgot about the necklace. Also, we don't know that necklace might have like bad powers.
Positive thinking, Tiona.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's what I'm here for. So back at the house, they try to use the staff to find Anna, and she can't see anything, but they start to hear a heartbeat. So we know that Anna is alive. We just don't know where she is yet. We also don't know if that's the last that we've seen of Bo Peep and her evilness.
I kind of hope not, because she's pretty bad.
Yeah, they took her staff, so now she has to come out with a vengeance in Storybrooke.
She got to have some lamb to chop or something. I don't know.
She's going to go start herding lambs again. So hopefully we find Anna. Like, where do you guys think that she could be? There's, like, if you can't see her, does that mean she's
It's in my predictions.
Oh, okay. I'll save it for predictions.
What about the...
Snow? Snow story was awesome.
Yeah. Snow White's story was amazing. Mayor, Mama, Mary Margaret, MM.
She was, like, comic relief between all of this stuff.
She was, because
she was hysterical.
Because it's, like, real life and you know, her story, because she actually did just have a child and now she has a child on here too, so it's like she's tired, she's frustrated, everyone's coming to her, like, the lights went out in the town, fix it. I'm sorry if there's a blackout, it happened 2 seconds ago, give them a second to figure out what caused it and stuff before you come at her like this. Also,
and Happy's not happy.
Happy's not happy. Grumpy is extremely grumpy. But I guess I didn't realize either that because Snow enacted this curse, that makes her the new mayor now, where everyone's coming to her for...
I didn't like how they reminded us that this is your kingdom, these are your people, take care of them. Yeah. Maybe not the best way to approach it, especially in this type of situation, but it did remind the audience, oh yeah, she does have power here.
Yeah. But then it was also like the things they were complaining about not having, like their TV, their DVD, their radios, their, you know, like all the internet.
Letters.
I was like, okay, I guess I'm just used to like kids always complaining about that, but adults aren't supposed to be as dependent on technology.
Right. And it shows that all these characters have really assimilated pretty well to electronics.
Electronics, the future,
they got used to it.
And I love that Snow White eventually is like, look, you guys survived for years without electricity or any of that stuff. Go buy a flashlight.
Yeah, she was so funny.
I was like, go light a match or something. Like, get a lantern. You guys lived in a forest.
I know.
Like, did you really forget your roots that quickly?
Be innovative.
Yeah, be innovative. But, you know, she does end up saving the day thanks to baby Neil. Because, you know, baby Neil was there and, you know, she's still trying to figure out what's wrong with the grid. And then he starts crying. She's like, I'll feed you in a second. Oh.
Feed.
There it is.
Boom. Fuel.
Done.
Need fuel.
It is a generator.
It is a generator.
Needs fuel.
And she probably just needed peace and quiet away from those people. And if she had gotten more than 8 hours of sleep that week, she might have been more on it. But you do not mess with the lady who's just had a baby because she hasn't had sleep. She's all over the place. Her hormones are crazy.
Yeah.
Like
chemically imbalanced.
Yeah.
She's you just shouldn't have came at her like that. Yeah. But you know, I'm glad that
she still figured it out.
Yeah. Which proves that, you know, working moms still get things done.
Baby high five.
Baby high five. That was so cute.
It was amazing.
It was so cute.
I loved her.
And then we also had Henry this episode. We didn't get to see a lot of Henry or Regina, but we did see Henry putting together a care package for Regina because he Googled how to get over a breakup.
Aww.
And then he was putting together like a basket for her.
How did he get hands on wine?
I am sure he just stole it from underneath the counter.
Well, first I gotta say, Jared S. Gilmore, he has really matured.
Yes.
Like even his voice is significantly different than it was last season. It's really dropped.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It shows that Henry himself is also growing up.
It's growing up in front of the public.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's so cute. And then, you know, they get that message from Regina via a black crow, which I thought was very interesting to use a black crow and not like a white dove.
She's dark.
No, you think it'd be... Was it black crow or black raven?
Oh, maybe it was a raven.
But yeah, I noticed that because it's very negative. That's an evil.
Yeah. It was a blackbird.
Connotation.
Yeah, because when I first saw it, I thought I was like, ooh, is this a sign of Maleficent right here? Because, you know, in the cartoons, she always had that black bird with her as well. And then it turned out to be a note from Regina.
You know, though, she's had her heart broken. Having your heart broken can do a lot of things and a lot of damage. And I can still see, like, the glimmer of good Regina, especially when Henry's around. So I just want to see more of her. I didn't get enough of her in this episode because I love her so much.
Yeah, we did. No. It was, you know, like she was not around this episode, which was sad because, you know, she is a very great character to see in the mix. But I love that Henry goes over to her house and is like beating on the door. He's like, look, I know you're in there. I'm going to come back here every single day. You're not getting rid of me this easy. I miss my room.
Yeah.
And, you know, she opens the door and lets him back in. And it's just, he was so inspired because their family, it's so true. They never give up on things. You know, David has clearly jumped hurdles since, you know, the boy who Anna met, who was willing to give up on everything so easily, to the guy who's going to fight for his family. Never give up. No thing is too impossible for him, you know, to get through. And the family will always find a way to help each other. And they find people, which is what they tell Elsa too. Yeah. Like, our family finds people, so we're going to find your sister.
Which is so sweet.
Yeah, so sweet. And then we get our little bonus scene with Grumpy at the ice cream shop. That, you know, he's like, oh yeah, losing the power, that must have been horrible for you because everything would have melted, right? Nope, not for this lady here, who I think it's safe to say is the Snow Queen.
She's the Snow Queen.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Mitchell.
Yeah, Elizabeth Mitchell. She's here. She's made her way in the storybook, and she's been hiding from us.
In plain sight.
In plain sight. But
she does serve yummy looking ice cream, though. I mean,
yeah,
she does.
She shoved that whole thing of milk into ice cream with like
real fast.
Yeah, real fast. I was like,
ice
all
cream
right.
next after this.
I would so be down
I just
for
had
that.
froyo before.
But yeah, so that pretty much was the episode right there.
Yeah, I mean, well, Elsa thought she was the only one with these unique powers, and now we know that the reason why that wall won't melt is because someone else got it too.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm writing this down because that's part of my prediction.
Right.
But before we get into that, let's go into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so last week's ratings went up 31% from last fall. Like, the ratings in season 3 kind of went down a little bit from Once Upon a Time, but last week ratings just skyrocketed up. And it also says that the ratings grew over the course of the hour. So it wasn't like people started it and then turned it off. People started it and then people started tuning in somewhere in the middle of it too, which is great. And then we have the sorcerer's hat that we saw last week, or what we thought we saw was, you know, the sorcerer's hat. What's his name again? Yin Sid. Which is Disney backwards. I did not get that.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to figure that one out.
I didn't get that either.
Yeah, from Fantasia. I, in my 28 years, never put that together. But we also had a spot. We also saw the apprentice's hat on a previous episode in season 1, Skin Deep. The hat's shown in Rumpelstiltskin's castle, right there in the screen grab behind Regina. Right. So it's something that Rumpel has had for a while or something, or that was just
that's cool.
Rumpel just owns every magical object ever.
Yeah, so they're saying that they think that it's possible for Rumpelstiltskin to actually be Yin Sid.
What?
And because later on this season, we will also see Henry gets a job in Mr. Gold's shop doing inventory. So it's kind of like he's the apprentice, and here's, you know, the sorcerer of Mr. Gold. So that's one of the rumors going around on the internet.
Add another hyphenate to Rumpel's name?
Yeah. He's so many characters already.
Seriously.
Yes. And then we also have this cute video that I found on the internet.
You call it cute.
Marissa doesn't love it as much as I do. But this little girl, Emily Mandelbaum, wrote a parody for Let It Go. It's called Let Me Poop. Here's a little snippet of it.
The poop comes out of my butt tonight. No toilet paper to be seen.
Okay, it's
a vacuum with nothing to wipe with. There's no way I'm getting clean.
Oh my gosh.
My stomach's growling with the poop that is inside. Couldn't keep it in. Heaven knows I tried.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we can use our imagination for the
get
rest.
the gist of it there. I will say that she goes into a great chorus of "Let me poop, let me poop."
Okay.
I should have closed the door. So make sure you go on YouTube and check out that video because I think it's hilarious and cute. She keeps a straight face the entire time. She never cracks a smile, guys. If I was singing about poop, I would be laughing the whole time. But this little girl is just amazing in every single way. And then most people know that Kristen Bauer von Straten will be returning as Maleficent for the second part of season 4. So that's why everyone thinks that, Maleficent, there's all these little hints of her coming back, because she will be back in the second half of the season. Of course, we don't know in what capacity.
Well, would that mean, well, not necessarily, that maybe it means Aurora and Mulan will be back because of the story arc?
That's what I'm hoping it means.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my last piece of news, I'm wearing my Princess Tiana shirt. I'm going to stand up so people can see this. I bought a new shirt. It's Princess Tiana.
What up?
Because we all know that I love Princess Tiana.
Tiana's wearing Tiana.
Tiana's wearing Tiana. And I am a huge advocate for getting her on the show. Well, in casting news, there might be a nod towards The Princess and the Frog. During episode 5, we'll be introduced to a new character named Lily. We all know that frogs hang out on lily pads all the time.
You're really stretching for that
She is described, listen to this description.
Okay.
A teen with a charming, take-no-prisoners punk exterior and the heart of a secretive, insecure opportunist. They're saying it could be that, since, last week we did say that there's a possibility of a Prince Naveen casting out there. Or it could be something for Tiger Lily. Yeah. Since, the character's name is Lily, it kind of fits a little bit of both of their personalities. So I guess we'll have to wait for episode 5 to see. But in the meantime, I got my Princess Tiana shirt because I'm all about that Princess Tiana life.
And we got our Princess Tiana here.
Yes, I mean, I'm blessing you guys with my present every week. But
yeah, and someone in the commenters on YouTube mentioned that the so-called ruly prince might also be Prince Kuko. I'm completely butchering
Emperor's
his name.
New Groove.
Emperor's New Groove, yeah.
Yes.
Which, that would make sense, too.
Yeah. I would like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And here's a fun fact. Josh Dallas also said that he believes that him and his wife are the first couple since Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz to be married in real life and have just had a child, and also their characters have a child on television at the same time. So it's like life imitating art. In a way.
That's cool.
He said he thinks that that's the thing. I didn't do too much research on it, but I'm going to believe him and say that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on that note, let's get into our predictions.
Okay.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Who wants to start?
Okay.
Marissa's
I'll start. When they're searching for Anna and they have the staff and they're all, back in the apartment and they hear a heartbeat, makes me think Regina's vault with all the hearts, or maybe Regina and Anna have crossed paths and Regina back in her evil days, took Anna's heart for something, or maybe Rumple has Anna's heart. And then something's wrong with the necklace. I think the necklace might be enchanted or cursed in some way.
What capacity do you think Elizabeth Mitchell's character is going to be destroyed next week?
No.
Okay.
They just introduced her.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they said special
She
guest.
has a humongous story arc.
Yeah, but it's within the Frozen arc that I think is going to be here throughout the first season. Or the first half of the season.
My only question is, if it's now really Elsa up against Snow White, then what's with all the promos of Elsa going against Regina? Because a lot of the visual graphics, they would have fire against ice, but doesn't seem like Regina's really in the picture for this story.
It might be
yet.
a tease.
I think they're just trying to throw you off.
I think that was just promotional.
I think so.
Good job.
And I think that with this whole Snow Queen, because, the story of Frozen was loosely based off of the Snow Queen.
Yeah.
And in the cartoon, Elsa is a version of the Snow Queen.
But she's a good one. So now we're seeing this bad Snow Queen. I'm thinking that Rumple wrapped up the wrong snow person in his can of the most evils out there. And so it's been painted in our head that Elsa is supposed to be a bad person when she was the good one and the bad one's actually out there because no one knows that there's two.
Yeah. And is Elizabeth Mitchell's character really the Snow Queen? I mean, we know she has power over ice and snow, but so does the White Queen from Narnia.
This is true.
I mean, I would love to go to Narnia.
That would be fun. And then my last one is just with Maleficent coming back. We know Regina is after getting villains their happy endings, so maybe something happens and that's how Maleficent ends up back in it. Because, if all of a sudden the second half of the season is us seeing the story with all the villains having their happy endings, and all our favorites with no happy endings.
Ooh. I just feel like I predict that Regina and Rumple are gonna switch into some of their old ways and then cause some trouble, but there's gonna be love that once again saves the day.
Of course. Yeah. Well, guys, make sure you let us know what you think. Make sure you check us out on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. We love the 5-star ratings. Leave us comments on there. Tell us what you like and what you don't like about our show. Also, check us out on YouTube and make sure you're leaving comments down below because we are reading them. We're responding to as many as we can.
Amazing.
You guys are blowing our minds with all these predictions.
So good.
Yeah, and make sure you tweet us. Where can they find you guys on socials?
Social wise, you can find me Kaorious everywhere with that Kaorious.
And you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
You can find me at the Tiona Hobson on Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you find AfterBuzz TV all over the interwebs at AfterBuzz TV. And we'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.